What's up, y'all? How are y'all doing today? I hope that y'all are doing good. How has it been going in your state, y'all? I was in the house for 3 days, and today I finally got out. So I was able to get out and clean the car off and all that kind of stuff. And then when I got off from work, I went to the store. So let me know, how are you doing? How many days were you locked in? And so it was kind of good because it was like Saturday and Sunday. I just kind of was relaxing a little bit. So it was good. But y'all, when I went out today, I'm just like the snow. Well, it really wasn't snow, it was more so ice. So it was still very white. And then the trees had like icicles on it, and it was so beautiful. And I'm just like, I'm not one for the snow, but it was so beautiful. And I was just like, wow, I haven't ever seen it like that before. So that was the first time that I had ever seen it where it was ice and pretty much all the trees. And so yesterday and today it was sunny, but even with it being sunny, the icicles haven't melted, especially since it's so cold. So, yes. What's going on? I know you're getting a lot of snow up there. Thank you so much for joining. But it was so pretty. And so I was just like, wow. But yep. So I was finally able to get out of the house and just go to the store and everything and pick up a few things. So I was glad about that. But it was good to, just kind of be able to relax in the house for a little bit. So let me know, how are you doing? Let me know what state that you are, what state you're in, and then we're just gonna chit chat. So y'all, today what I wanted to chit chat about was um the last time I did a live, I was talking about, some, I wouldn't necessarily say a debt payoff journey, but taking a look at some of my credit card statements for December. All those came out in January. And so I've already made payments on most of them. And so within me taking a look at that, I was just like, what about doing a balance transfer? So I just wanted to kind of talk about how I would consider doing a balance transfer. And see, the thing is, probably for the last 6 years or so, I haven't paid interest on credit cards. And so normally, what I like to do is I really like to pay all my credit cards off. And if I don't pay the whole credit card off, then I'll just pay it off at the statement balance. And then I'll have a little bit more time. So when I was writing everything down, I kind of went through a process. And so I wanted to show you guys the process that I am kind of going down to decide, is a balance transfer worth it or not? And so I have done a balance transfer probably twice, either 2 or 3 times. Because I want to say I've done a balance transfer when I had the 2 BankAmericard credit cards. And then the last time I had credit card debt, and that was 6 years ago, I did a balance transfer. So I did a balance transfer from my BankAmericard credit cards over to my Discover It. What's going on? How are you doing? I'm doing well. Are you still snowed in? Are you thawed out? Let me know. How are you doing and where are you located? That is cool. So I'm gonna share my screen and we're just gonna take a look at it. But y'all, it's been overall good. Oh, but let me tell y'all this before we go into it. So I had did a video the other day and I was talking about 5 credit cards that you could do a balance transfer with that had a balance transfer up to 24 months. But see, this is the thing, y'all. This is so crazy because I was trying to find it because I had it somewhere, because Discover It, they be sending me stuff all the time, even though, I will report a balance, but I won't pay interest on credit cards. And so Discover It, they be sending me stuff all the time. And so I had one because when we did maybe like 2 lives ago, I had showed y'all that I had a offer from Discover It. And so then here recently, City had sent me something about doing a balance transfer. So I don't know if it's just the beginning of the year because they know that people carry on debt, especially from fourth quarter with, buying presents and all that kind of stuff to the beginning of first quarter. And so I was like, I got 2 balance transfer offers. And so I'm just like, should I do a balance transfer? But we're going to see, because the thing is it really worth it? And so the last time I did a balance transfer was over 6 years ago. And at that time I had $11,813. I think it was $11,813 of credit card debt. But what we're going to be talking about today, technically, I don't feel like it's debt because I haven't paid interest on it. So let's take a look. And then let me know in the comments, have you done a balance transfer before? So let me share my screen. Okay. So y'all, okay, here, let me show y'all this. So this is the original information that I showed y'all. So I had 7 credit cards that have balances on it, and 5 credit cards had actual minimum payments due, and then 2 credit cards did not have minimum payments due. So all of those 7 credit cards had $187 in minimum payments, and the balance, y'all, on those credit cards was $8,923.64. Now the thing is, the statement balance that I owed was $4,577.77. And as long as I made the paid the statement balance, then I don't have to pay interest on the credit cards. So most of the time, 90% of the time, I'm going to pay the credit card off, or I'm going to pay the statement balance, so that I can report. And so, but most of the time, I'm not going to have balances this high. So I haven't had balances this high in a very, very long time, y'all. And so this was in the beginning of the year. So the first part of January. And so now I made payments on all of the credit cards. And so 5 of the credit cards, so I have balances on 7 of the credit cards, but I want to say some of them are different. And only 2 of the credit cards actually have a minimum payment due, which is $75. And 5 of the credit cards don't have a minimum payment due. And so these credit cards don't have a minimum payment due. And so then these are my American Express Blue Business Cash, and then my American Express Hilton Honor Surpass. So I have a $700 balance, and then the statement balance is $700. So I have to pay the whole $700. And then for the Blue Business Cash, the balance is $236, but the statement balance is only $197. So that's $897, $900. So y'all, the thing is, so like really all of these balances come up to $5,477.44. So the thing is, okay, I get paid one more time. So for the month of January, I got paid 3 times. And so on Friday, I'll get paid one more time. So it was just like, okay, when I get paid this other time, am I going to be able to pay everything off, right? And so I'm just like, I don't know. And so then yesterday I was crunching some of the numbers, and I was like, what if I did a balance transfer? Because I'm just like, well, when the $3,168.60, I was like, well, should I just do a balance transfer, or should I just pay interest on it? So I'm just like, well, if I paid it off in a month or 2, how much would I pay interest on those? And so that's the kind of thing that I was thinking when I take a look at it, especially this time, because, most of the time I'm going to be paying off the credit cards. So when I take a look, so it's just like, okay, I'm going to pay all those credit cards off. And I think it was really just maybe 2,000 or less that I wasn't going to be able to pay off, but I wasn't for sure. So I'm just like, for sure, I'll be able to pay it off in a month, or, a month and a half. And so with these balances right here, technically this balance, the $3,168, the next due date is not going to be until March the 1st. And so I'm just like, I would have all of February to pay it off. And so that's why I think it's important first to write everything down. So I'm glad that I wrote everything down, and then I'll write everything down, and then I'll kind of be taking a look. So with me getting paid 3 times this month, and then when I'm looking at my statement date and stuff like that, I can say, well, okay, this balance is not going to be due until March. So I'll have a whole nother month without paying interest on the credit card. And that's going to be pretty good, because for me, I'm more so to where I don't want to pay interest on credit cards. And then especially, this month they were talking about, the administration was talking about capping the interest and things like that to 10% on the credit card interest. But I'm just like, overall, I would just prefer not to pay interest on the credit cards. So then I was just like, if I can pay it off by March, should I do a balance transfer? So that's what we're going to take a look at. And we're going to take a look at the numbers to see what's going on. So, LOL, I'm in South Mississippi, just ice and cold. I did my first balance transfer on both of my Navy Federal credit cards. I figured the interest rates were low, and so the cash reward plus was 15%, and then the more rewards was 18%. And that's pretty good, because especially, we'll take a look at the interest rates, but especially, let's say with the United credit card, because that's the one that has the higher balance on there, that one is like 25%. And I think I have one with my American Express Hilton Honor Surpass. I want to say that one is 28%. So, with the credit union credit cards, the interest rates are not higher than 18%. So that's really good. Okay. So what I did was I took a look at my statement. And so this was my statement that just passed. And so you can see, here's my new balance. And I have a $40 minimum payment that was due on 2/1. But I have already paid that balance. And so I have satisfied the minimum payment, and I have satisfied the statement balance. So I will not pay interest on that credit card, even though I still have a current balance of $3,168.60. And so that's what I really love about, understanding my statement balance and the statement date, because I can kind of play around with it and see, well, what's most important for me to pay off first. And so right now, it's not necessarily as important for me to pay this off, because I'm not paying interest on it. So I was taking a look at my statement, and I was just like, okay, my new statement is going to come out on probably, because here my opening and closing date is 12/5 of 2025 through 1/4 of 2026. So I can pretty much gauge that my closing date is going to be 2/4. That's going to be my closing date. And so my next payment is going to be due on 3/1. So as long as I make the payment on 3/1 of this amount, then I'm not going to pay interest on a credit card. So that's how I kind of take a look at it to decide. So that's the first piece of me taking a look at it. Well, the first piece is me writing everything down. And then the second piece is me looking at all of the dates to see, what's going on. And then once I look at the dates, then I can say, okay, I'm going to have a whole month. So maybe just maybe, especially since I'm not paying interest on the credit card, I'm not gonna have to I'm not gonna have to pay interest on the credit card. And so then I was like, well, let me still look to see about doing a balance transfer. And so, y'all, why couldn't I find the mailer from Discover? And so I was cleaning my office the other day, and I'm just like, man, I probably threw it in the trash, because especially over the weekend, because we were stuck in the house. So I was I cleaned out the closets, and I cleaned out all those products under the sink, and then I cleaned out my office. And so I'm just like, man, I probably threw it in the trash, so I couldn't even find it. But what I did, I went on to the website. So, cause see, my Discover It, I want to say that credit limit is $7,800. And so if that credit limit is $7,800, and then this balance is $3,100, that's going to be over 50% of that. And so I'm just like, when you are doing balance transfer, are you thinking about your credit card utilization and things like that? But the great thing is that my overall credit card utilization is like 4%. So it's not going to really hurt my overall credit card utilization. Let me see. Yeah. So my overall credit card utilization is 4%. So I came here and I took a look at it. And so right now, Discover has 2 offers that I could choose. And so I put in the transfer amount, which is $2,168.60. And technically it really could be lower, but I said I'll just try this amount. And then the current interest rate is 25%. And so it says that I could do 12 months balance transfer, but the only thing is it has a 4% balance transfer fee. And so that balance transfer fee is going to be $127. And so I'm just like, if the interest is only going to be $127, well, the balance transfer fee is going to be $127. If I'm going to pay this off in 2 months, or a month and a half, would it be worth it for me to do a balance transfer and pay the transfer fee of 4% if I'm going to pay it off? So that's kind of where I was thinking maybe it might not be in my best interest, because if the interest rate is 25%, then really for 2 months, it will probably be what, $30? So there will be $65 for 2 months of interest over a balance transfer fee of $127. So I'm just like, it might not be worth it for me to do that. Compared to the other offer, it was at 7.99 with 18 months, and it's no balance transfer fee. And so that's pretty good. But you still paying 7%. But the thing is, with all of these credit cards having, the highest one being 28%, to be able to get 7%, right at 8% over 28%, that's pretty good. And so that's pretty much how I would take a look at it to see, okay, is it going to be worth it for me to do a balance transfer? And so right now, especially if I'm going to pay it off in a month and a half or 2 months, I don't think it would be worth it for me to do a balance transfer. So you'll have to let me know, what are you thinking about this? And when you do a balance transfer, what are some of the things that you're thinking about when you are doing a balance transfer? So let me know, what are you thinking about? And so I'm just like, I don't know. Because I was just like, well, what if since it was 12 months, and see, I think that's how it gets real tricky, because I'm just like, one, I think when you do a balance transfer, you have to have a plan. But then, because I'm just like, well, if I'm going to pay it off in 2 months, it might not be worth it for me to do a balance transfer. But then I was just like, well, what if I stretched it 12 months? And see, I'm just like, well, that's not good. If I want to say that I'm going to stretch it, the 12 months. But then I was just like, two, I think that's the same thing when we take a look at the minimum payment, and so I was just like, maybe I'll just pay the interest on it, or it's possible that I will be able to pay it off before the next statement, the statement date comes out. So we'll have to see. So let me know, what are you thinking? And let me see. Filmo said, probably not worth it for such a short term. I usually only do it if I need 8 to 12 months to pay it off the balance. And I think that that's pretty good, Filmo, because that's kind of what I was thinking. And so that's why I like to write everything down so I can run the numbers, because especially you don't want to create a plan for it. But then I was just like, okay, because at first I was like, okay, I can pay it off in 2 months. But then when I was like, oh, I'm going to do the balance transfer, it's just like, okay, I'm going to maybe want to extend it out a little bit. Let's see. I did a transfer to help a child get out of debt, and we made a plan to play it off. I think it broke off. We made a plan to let me see. No balance transfer for me. But see, this is the thing. Would you rather pay interest on the debt, or would you rather do a balance transfer? Let me see. Oh, yes. Okay. I did a balance transfer to help a child get out of debt. We made a plan to pay it off so it wouldn't ruin her credit. But you know what? I've had credit cards forever, y'all. And it's only been probably the last 6 years that I haven't paid interest on it. So that means I done pay interest, my fair share of interest on credit cards. But sometimes I think it's a misconception that if you have debt, that it's going to, decrease your credit score. And so I think what I like to do is, that's why I like to write everything down, because I think that you can still increase your credit score if you have debt. But I think overall, we don't want to pay interest on credit cards. So I think it's good to, have a plan for it and things like that. But, things happen. You see what I'm saying? And so, if things come up and stuff, and then you have to end up putting it on your credit card, I don't want people to think that, okay, just because I have it on there, it's going to mess up my credit, because really the credit profile is made up of 5 components. So you got your payment history, credit card utilization, your length of credit, your new credit, and your credit mix. So technically, if you're making the payments on time every month, then boom, that's 35% of your credit score. But then the credit card utilization, to me, that's where it can eat it up. So let's say on the one credit card, that credit card utilization is 50%. But see, my overall credit card utilization is 4%. So it's like, on the one hand, it's really not going to mess up my credit. You see what I'm saying? Let me see. My credit rating is strong, and in this case, it made the most sense. Yes. Kids didn't tell me. Wow. Oh my goodness. Yep. And so, yeah, that's what I like to do, write everything down. And so to me, if it makes the most sense, I think that doing a balance transfer is definitely the way to go. And so, I've done a balance transfer. I want to say 3 times I've done a balance transfer. And the last time I did a balance transfer was, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. And that was when I did a balance transfer from my Bank of America credit card to, and I want to say it was like 4,000. I think it was like 4 or 5,000. And cause see, with my Bank of America credit cards, I would use those credit cards differently. So I had used it to I want to say at that time I had used it to get my HVAC system fixed. And so um she thought she was grown. I can only imagine, because I know, look, when I was in college, I was tearing them credit cards up. But I'm just like, with the knowledge that we have now, I'm just like, if I could like if I went back, I would do it so much differently. Because see, the thing is, when I had credit cards, like when I was in college, the thing, now I would make sure that I paid everything on time, but I would carry a balance on that credit card. But now I just try to make sure, because see, right now I am carrying a balance on it, but I haven't paid interest on the credit cards. And so I think knowing the statement date and the statement balance, to me, is a game changer. And so I would just tell anybody, understanding our due date and our statement date and our statement balance, then, because see, with me knowing my statement date and my statement balance, then that's how I can kind of play around with paying this debt off. And so, I might not have to do a balance transfer. So we'll have to see. What's up, Caesar? How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you for coming over. Yes, that is so cool. Glad that you were able to join. And we got a couple of people in here. I just really appreciate y'all for joining today. And so we're just chit-chatting. And I was talking about how I would consider doing it. Let's see. Philmo said, I usually don't worry about the effects on my credit score since it's usually short term. That is I like that. But I'm old. I'm an old dude. So credit score matters less to me overall. You know what? And I think that is a great point too, because sometimes part of what I'm thinking, one, it is going to be short term, because I think, especially with our credit card utilization, if we want to increase our credit score fast, so with our credit card utilization, we can decrease it, by paying off the debt, to increase our credit score month over month every 30 days. And so that's why I really like to tackle the credit card utilization, because you can really see a huge increase in your credit score by tackling the credit card utilization. But when I'm taking a look at my credit, just kind of sort of like what Philmo said, one, I'm going to really take a look at everything. And so I think that's why it's important for us to take a look at our credit score and our overall credit profile. And so, y'all, let me tell y'all what I did the other day. So speaking of credit scores, I wanted to pull all my credit scores. And so I pulled my credit scores from Experian. And so Experian, they usually have where you can do like a trial. So y'all, this is how I do it all the time. They have where you can do a trial for like 7 days, and you can get all of your credit scores. And after you do the trial, I want to say it's $24.99 a month. And so, y'all, usually what I'll do is I'll do it for 7 days, and then I will come back and especially once I get on my credit scores and stuff like that, I'm just like, I've gotten all the information that I needed, and then I'll cancel it, y'all. Why I forget? So I had forgot, and then I was like, dang, and so I tried to get in there right quick. So y'all, I forgot, and then I went in there real quick, and so it was just like, I guess the credit card that I had in there, the date had expired. And so it's like, it wanted me to put a new credit card in there. And so I was just like, dang, I hope it's not going to charge me, because I was going to cancel it. Y'all, it went ahead and charged me once I put the new credit card in there. So I got charged $24.99 for the Experian Boost, I think. And so I was just like, dang. I was like, see, that's why I'm not going to say on the same day, but I'm like, that's why I should have freaking canceled it. Because I'm just like, usually I'll kind of go back in there, because ever so often, I like to pull all my credit scores. And so, because I want to say this was like 2 weeks ago. And so I had pulled all my credit scores. I don't think I have them up here. I didn't put them in here. But I think I'm averaging a 770. I want to say a 775, somewhere off in there. That's what I'm averaging right now. And so I'm just like, I'm ready to get up to a 850. And so I'm just like, that would be so cool. Cause the other day, Nell from Water Your Soil, he had did a video and he showed that his credit score was a 850. And I was like, wow, I don't think I know nobody that got an 850 credit score. So I'm like, that was pretty cool. And so I think that that's really good to be able to get an 850 credit score. But, even to have a 775, that's still good. And so usually for Experian, that's why I go and pull my credit scores. But I'll go into the Chase portal and I will pull my credit reports. And so I love to go there. So I'll be looking at my credit report. Y'all be looking at my credit report probably like 2 times a month, something like that, because I'll take a look at my credit card utilization. And so that's what I like to do. And so I really like that it's so easy to be able to pull it from the Chase portal. But you can pull it from the Chase portal, but then you can also pull it from the American Express portal. Because see, I really like to go to Experian because you can get your score ingredient. And so in the American Express portal, you can pull the score ingredient and it'll kind of rate, well, how are you doing with your payment history, your credit card utilization, your length of credit, your new credit, and your credit mix. And y'all, I had my score ingredient. Let me see if I have. This is what it looks like. Let me show you. So, okay, this is what the score ingredient looks like. But this is not my most up-to-date one because y'all, why is my credit card utilization, but the amount of debt, I want to say now it might be good. Let me see if I can pull it right quick. Hold on. Cause see, my payment history is good, and then my credit card utilization is exceptional, and then my length of credit is exceptional, my new credit is exceptional, and then my credit mix is exceptional. But let me see if I can pull it right quick and see what it is. But the last time I looked at it, it was I was like, dang, it had went down a little bit. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it right quick. And so you'll have to let me know when you go into your American Express, because I already know all y'all got American Express cards. So when you go into American Express, do you pull your score ingredient? Let me see. Oh, okay. It still is exceptional. Oh man, so that's exceptional. But my new credit is good. And so I had applied for a new credit card. So in December, I had applied for the Chase United Explorer. And so I didn't have any, I don't think I had any inquiries on my credit report. And so now that I have the inquiry on my credit reports, it is hold on, let me see if I can pull it over so y'all can see it. And so that but I only have one inquiry, so that's not too bad, but that's going to stay on there for a little bit. So let me see if I can pull it over here really quick. Okay, so here is the new one. So this is the one that I just pulled. So this is my updated score ingredient. And so you can see that my payment history is still good because I have some late payments on there. And then let me see. Let me see if I can. Yep. So my payment history is still good. And so now, but y'all, I'm telling y'all, my credit utilization, it had went to good. And so now it's back up to exceptional. And that's crazy. That's exceptional, even though I do have it's at 4% credit utilization. And then my length of credit is exceptional. But since I applied for that new credit card, now it's good. So I'm just like, dang. Let me see. So I want to shout out to what up, Trump said. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. And then Lisa, what up, Lisa? How are you doing? Lisa said that she doesn't have any American Express cards. And that is A-okay. That is A-okay. Because I want to say, because you know what? I have been wanting an American Express card forever. But do you remember when American Express made it to where you had to pay the balance off every month? Oh my goodness. But now they have where you can, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. But now they have the pay over time. But I'm just like, what if they went back to making you pay the credit card off every month? But I pay mine off every month anyway, except for right now, we're going to see, well, especially for those, because it's really only one credit card, and that's my Chase United Explorer. That's the only credit card that I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I would say a few other things that I just, I'm just so interested in when it comes to credit cards is one, the statement date and the statement balance, and then our credit card utilization. And so, it is very important for us to have good payment history. So that's very important. And, but you can see, like for me, my credit, I do have, because I want to say I have 4 late payments on there. So I got 2 30-day late payments. And then I think I have 2 60-day late payments. But overall, my credit score is still good. And kind of going back to something that Philmo said, when I take a look at my credit as well, I'll take a look and I'll see, well, am I going to be using my credit for anything anytime soon? And so that can kind of, get you to thinking, okay, this can make my decision go this way or that way, depending on, am I going to be getting a car soon? Am I going to be buying a house soon? Am I going to have to, get my credit ran for a apartment? You see what I'm saying? And so those are some of the things that I will take a look at when I am deciding things regarding my credit, and even with the credit card utilization, because it's like technically, the credit card utilization, it would be high on that credit card that you're paying interest on, or even if you transfer it over to another credit card, at least you're not paying interest on it. So those are just some of the things, that I think about when I'm trying to decide. But I'm just like, y'all, I haven't had, because most of, for the last 6 years, I've been making sure to pay it off. But in December, we were, well, really in December was really, scheduling some trips and stuff like that. And so it really is just like how it came down. And so we had, so I'm going to be going on this one trip coming up soon. And so I was just like, because I'm like, y'all, I hadn't ever decided to go on a cruise, because really the cruise was going to have to be paid off by January. I think January the 15th. And so, I had been knowing about the cruise for a while, and it was just like, am I going to go? Am I not going to go? I was deciding. And then a friend, she was gonna go with me, and so then we were gonna, share a room and all that kind of stuff. And then it was like, okay, I'm gonna still go. And so, so then we were doing that, and then me and my sister and my niece, and we're gonna be going to Hawaii, and for our birthday, because I have a twin sister. And so me and my sister, we had been talking about going to Hawaii. And I had did last year when I had went to I did the timeshare presentation with Hilton. And so I had bought the timeshare presentation for Hawaii. And so we're just kind of turning into a family trip. And so I'm very excited about that. And so the flights for the Hawaii trip, it was just like, oh my goodness, they were just so much. So it was just like how everything came, about so fast. And so that's really how it had ended up to where, I had, charged a little bit more than I normally did. But I was just like, for this one trip coming up, I was like, man, I gotta go on this trip. I was like, I didn't want to not go on the trip. And so so I said, I was like, I'm gonna do it. And so that's how I ended up doing that. But I'm just so excited about it. So I was just like, I'm okay with it. And then I'm very excited about the trip to Hawaii. And y'all got a little countdown for us. And so my niece, she's just so happy about it. And I'm just so happy about it too. And so it's just so exciting. So I'm happy overall. But it's just like ultimately, when I'm thinking about doing things, I still like to try to, do it organized. And so that's why I'm, taking a look, and I'm writing everything down and really just trying to decide how I'm gonna do it. Okay, so you absolutely loved Hawaii. So we're gonna be going to Honolulu. So that's gonna be Waikiki Beach. So I'm very excited about it, y'all. I am so excited. And so we're gonna be staying at a Hilton there when we go. Yep. So you'll have to let me know. Are there any restaurants or anything like that that I should know about? Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. And then I'm just like, I kind of been talking to my sister, but I'm just like, for 2020, because we're in 2026, for 2027, I'm just like, I don't know. I was thinking about an Alaskan cruise. We had kind of talked about it, but I'm gonna see if she's still interested in the Alaskan cruise. And so maybe we can do that for 2027, because I want to do something kind of really fun for our birthday. And so I usually like to, see if we can plan that out, because I'm just like, especially y'all with that Hawaii trip. Because I'm like, I don't think ever paid that much for a plane ticket of Oahu, Pearl Harbor, and the Dukes is epic. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Let me see. I'm so excited. And so we got time to be able to figure out our itinerary and things. Yes, I'm just so excited about it. So the Dukes has awesome food. Okay, I'm gonna look that up when I get off of the live. And so Trump said, go feed the fish. Okay, let me see. I'm pretty sure my niece would like to do something like that, possibly. Okay, I'm writing it down. Get some frozen peas at the grocery store. Okay, thank you. That is so cool. Yes, so I wrote those down, but if you have any more, you just let me know, because I'm gonna be doing some more research of places that we can go, because we got about I think we still got about 100. Trying to think, we still got a little bit of time. So I'm just very excited about. I'm very excited about it. But yeah. Okay. Buy a bus card. Grab 3 passes for cheap. Ooh. The Hawaiian plate lunches. Great food, cheap price. Okay. Okay. For the brother and the sister. Yes. Okay. I will do that. I will do that. So I'm excited, but you'll have to let me know. Did you go into the water? Did you do any surfing? Like, did y'all do any of that kind of stuff? I'm just like, that would be so fun. So I am, as you can see, I'm very excited about it. But we still got some time. Yes, 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 yes. All right, y'all. What time is it? I think I'm probably gonna get out of here. Let me see. Because I gotta go to work in the morning. But I just wanted to get on here and take you guys through my process of to do a balance transfer or to not do a balance transfer, and is it gonna be worth it? Okay, I lived on the North Shore, Hawaii for a few years. Wow, that is so amazing. I think that's kind of good because I'm just like, so I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've never moved. And so like my sister, she moved and she lives in New York. And a lot of my friends, they've moved and come back, but I've never moved. And so it's like sometimes I'm just like, I would love to move somewhere. Sometimes not. But you know what though? Not necessarily that I want to move somewhere forever, but I think like right now between, December wasn't too bad, but I would say maybe between January, February, and maybe come back March. So maybe just first quarter move somewhere, or because especially like December, that's still the holiday, so you want to spend time with your family and stuff like that. And so maybe just first quarter move somewhere for like 3 months. And so it's just like when I moved to Florida, or I was even like Arizona, because I would have to move somewhere where it was warm. I would not be able to move somewhere where it was cold because I do not like the cold weather. You were just in Nashville. Wow, that is pretty cool. Were you here for a conference or something? Did you like it? Did you get you any hot chicken? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm a military brat. Move every 3 to 4 years. I love new places. Wow, that is so cool. But you know what? I was just like, when I had graduated from high school, I kind of thought I would move, but then because like when we were in high school, we did travel a little bit. So we maybe went to like North Carolina, we went to California, but when we went to college, me and my sister, we would travel. And then like I was in a business fraternity and we would travel. And so we traveled then. And so once I started traveling, I was just like, you know what? I love Nashville. And I didn't feel like I needed to move. And then especially now, Nashville, like maybe the last 10 years, I'm like, the last 10 years, you would not even like from 20 years ago, it doesn't look anything pretty much, it looks different. Like it's grown so much. And even now, like we're getting a new Titan Stadium and things like that. And so, and then it's like, oh, the restaurants. And I'm just like, y'all, oh my goodness. Between all the barbecue restaurants and then the chicken, because I love me some Princess chicken, y'all. I can eat Princess chicken like once a week. And so we got so many restaurants and stuff here. Let me see. I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was awesome. Great food and so much history. Wow. I always wanted to go to Nashville. The music industry is so interesting. And you know what? because especially like, you got Broadway and things like that. And even though like we're country music, but to me, especially like when you go down to Broadway and you go to those bars and stuff, to me, it's not that they always play country music. It's just about live music, because I love me some live music, y'all. And so, when you go down there and they playing, they could be playing all the music. So they know all the songs. And so they don't just play the country music songs. They'll play R&B and they'll play soul music. And so I just love to hear live music. And so I love live music. I like comedy shows. But I especially live music. I just love live music, y'all. So I'll be going to concerts all the time. I'm like, I probably go to like 2 or 3 concerts a year. Probably. Let me see. Nashville is full of music, yes. And because see, they got the Country Music Hall of Fame, and I've been there, and it is so cool because it takes you through the whole country music, from all the years. But then also we have the African American Music Museum, and that's really nice. And that's off of 5th and Broad. And me and my sister, we went, I want to say, I think we went there in 2021 for our birthday. One year we did a staycation and we went there, and it was so cool. And so I'm just like, I really should go back down there, because what's so cool about it is they give you like this wristband, and as you're going through the museum, it's like you're adding music, and so then you can pull it up on your computer, all the music that you had kind of downloaded while you was walking through the museum. And so it is amazing. You like live music? French Quarter is an hour and some change from here. Yeah. And let me see. It was not last year, but the year before that, we went to New Orleans for the meetup. So for the YouTube meetup, we went there. A good friend of mine is a producer from ATL, moved there and invited me, so I couldn't resist. Wow. So you'll have to let me know. Are you doing any music or anything? That would be nice. And because look, when you go to the African American Museum, they have this place, like one of the parts of the museum, it's like you can create like a song or something, and you can record yourself, and it's amazing. So I tell anybody, if they come to Nashville, they really got to visit the African American Museum, but even the Country Music Museum is nice to go to as well. And then visit, the bars and stuff downtown. It's pretty cool because they're gonna be playing live music. And then also on 5th and Broadway, they got all these restaurants and stuff there. And so it's just so much to do down there. But it's cool because you can pretty much spend like a whole day down there, whole day and night, and you will have an amazing time. But right now, with it being so cold, especially for me, since I don't like the cold, but if you like the cold, maybe, but I would say maybe, I think April is a good time. May is a good time because that's when we had went down there. We did the staycation in May that one time. So yeah, the bars, yeah, they got bars because they got those bars that ride around downtown. And sometimes I think about doing, because you know how like when you go to other states, because like when I go to other states, I love to do the red bus, and you know how they'll take you around a certain part of the town. But I'm just like, how often when you are in your own town, how often do you do like touristy kind of stuff? And so, you know how you can do the bike riding, or you can do like the red bus, and then they have those other kind of bar buses that you can take and go around and stuff. And so that can be kind of cool, but they be playing good music on it. So you have a lot of fun. But yeah. But alrighty, y'all. I just wanted to hop on here real quick and tell you guys what I was thinking about in regards to possibly doing a balance transfer. But let me know what kind of topics y'all are interested in, and go over to my community tab, because y'all been trying to put some really cool polls on my community tab. So take a look at those. And I'm just like, for February, I don't know. I said February, I might do. We're gonna see for February what kind of polls I'm gonna be putting up. So you'll have to let me know. What are you thinking? Yes, Nashville is a blast. Yes, Nashville is super cool. And so that's why I say I don't know that I would want to move, because another reason that I don't know that I want to move is because while let's say you got December, but December wasn't really that cold this time. I think we had a few cold, spots, maybe for like a week or two. But like January and February, that's when it's cold. But like once we got that snow, so we got snow Saturday, I don't think we're gonna get snow again. And so that's why I'm just like, I like Nashville, because it doesn't get too cold here compared to like New York, where my sister is at. And then we don't get a whole lot of rain, even though I would love to probably live in Florida. But they got all the hurricanes and stuff. And Dow, what up, Dow? How are you doing? I'm so glad that you were able to join. We were just about to get off, but hey, how you doing? Happy New Year. I'm so glad that you was able to join. Let me see. James, how are you? Thank you for joining. Let me see. So I just want to say thank you to my sister. She joined. And then thank you to .com. And then Filmo. Thanks for Filmo for joining. I appreciate it. And yes, we had so many people that stopped by. Caesar stopped by. That was cool. And then Trump said stop by. I really appreciated him for stopping by. And then Lisa stopped by. That was very cool for her to stop by. I just really appreciate all of y'all for stopping by. Yes, I'm so glad that you're doing well. That is amazing. James said, oh, dude, nothing wrong with that. Everybody matters. So yes, but y'all, I just appreciate y'all so much. I hope that y'all are thawing out and that you are good. And so I was able to finally get out of the house today. So that was really good. But yeah, I just appreciate y'all so much, and got some good content coming up. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share the content with your friends and your family. But thank you so much for joining. Until next time, have a good one.